Okay, what you're going to learn in this tutorial is when the player walks towards an object like the box, the camera is going to zoom in, and then when the player walks away from the box, the camera is going to zoom out. Invert this condition. So we're going to click OK. Now this is going to control how things work as far as zooming out. So what we want to do here for the action is we're going to click Add Action. We're going to go to Variables. We're going to go to Value of a Scene Variable. We're going to click Zoom Camera. For this, what we want is we want this to be minus. So we're going to select Subtract. And then for this setting here, we're going to put in 0.01. Then we're going to click OK. Okay, so for these for this next event, we're going to need the same things here, just change slightly. So what we can do is we're going to left click here, right click, select copy. We're going to click here, and then right over this add condition, we're going to right click and select paste. We're going to do the same for this. We're going to left click here, right click, then select copy. Then right over this add condition here, or add, not condition, I clicked here. Now we're going to click, while hovering over this add action, we're going to right click and select paste. The reason why we did this is we just need to change the settings here. This is actually going to stay the same. We just need to change this so this is not inverted. So we're going to double click here and then click here so that this setting isn't inverted. We're then going to click OK. And then for this setting here, we want this to be plus instead of subtract. So we're going to click here, select Add, and then click OK. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go to this event right here. We're going to click Add Condition. Then we're going to go to Variables. We're going to select the value of a scene variable. For the variable, we're going to put in here Zoom Camera. Then we're going to click here. For the sign of the test, what we want this to be is greater than or equal to. So we're going to left click here. We're then going to, for the setting here, we're going to change this to 0.7. We're then going to click OK. Okay, so we need this setup here, right here as well. So we're going to right click here, select copy. We're going to left click here. Then we're going to hover over this condition and then right click and select paste. So what we need here is we're going to double click here. And the only reason we copy and paste is just to make things quicker. This needs to be set to less than or equal to. So we're going to click that. And then for this setting, what we need is to change this to 2. So then we're going to click OK. Okay, so with all that set up, let's click the preview button to see if this works. So when we walk up to the box, you can see the camera zooms in. And then when we walk away from the box, the camera zooms out. So very good. This is very cool. Okay, so as long as you have these settings, you have what you need to have your camera zoom in and out. What I wanted to do was tell you about what you can do with these settings and basically what happens when you change these settings. So this controls how far you zoom out. This controls how far you zoom in. These right here control the speed that you zoom in and out. So depending on what you want to do, by knowing what these different things do, you can control how far your camera zooms in. For instance, suppose we want the camera to zoom extremely close into our character and the object that the character is walking towards. I'm going to click the preview button just so you can have it back in your head how how close we zoom in. So now with our character this close, our character takes up a decent amount of the screen. Suppose we want the camera to zoom really close into our character. I'm going to zoom back just so you can see what's going on here. So suppose we want the character to pretty much almost fill up the frame of the character. What we can do is we can change this to 4. So I'm going to click here, change this to 4. So I changed this setting to double, right? So what should happen is now when we walk up to the box, we should have, the camera should zoom in to the point where our character is almost taking up the whole frame of the character. So let's click the preview button. So now as we walk over, you can see that our character takes up a lot more space. If you took that setting up even higher, the camera would zoom even further in. Now, one other thing I want to show you is when our character zooms out, and you can see there's the camera zooming out. Now I'm going to walk over again. See how the camera zooms in? So I like it's a nice smooth zoom. However, the camera is moving a little slow to zoom in for zooming into this size. So I'm going to click here. Let me zoom out. Let get you so you can see the zoom out. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave the zoom out setting the same. I'm going to click here. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to set things up so that our camera, when it goes to zoom in, it's going to zoom in faster, since this setting is set so that the player character takes up a lot more of the frame of the camera. So what we're going to do is just click here. We're going to change this to 0.04. So previously this was 0.01. We just changed this to 0.04. So now when we click the preview button, what should happen is when we walk towards our box and zoom in, you can see the zoom is a lot faster. Now because we didn't change the other setting, our zoom out is still the same speed that it was before. So if we click here, like when I click that X to close, if we change this to 0.04, and then I click the preview button, now when we walk to zoom in, we zoom in very quickly, then we walk to zoom out. We also zoom out very quickly. Okay, so suppose we want the game to start off and we want the start off camera to be zoomed out further. We'll click here and we'll change this setting to 0.4. So then with that done, we'll click the preview button. So now you can see that our camera is further out now. So then when we go closer, our camera zooms very close in. And then the camera zooms out again. Okay, so if we want the camera to zoom in slower, as well as, I think that the slower speed makes things appear to zoom in smoother. We'll change this back to 0.01. We'll change this also to 0.01. So now we'll click the preview button. So now you see we have a smoother zoom in now. And one of the nice things about this this zoom here is you could fill areas right here with a lot of different things for the player to do. And then if you need the player to do something where it's more useful to see more of the player, you can just have the camera zoom in. Okay, the settings that I like are, I like for this to be set for 1. I like for this to be set for 2. So I just click the preview button, just clicking this button here to maximize the screen. So here we have this area around, however we can see the character very clearly. And then if we want to have just a more detailed look at the character, we zoom in, and then when we walk away, we zoom out. Okay guys, that's it for the tutorial. For all of those of you out there who like the videos on this channel and reshare them, thank you very much. And for those of you who are new to this channel, if you like the videos on this channel, you would like to see more, please subscribe, and thank you for viewing.